Welcome to episode 4 of my Dark Souls Let's Play. I just took out the gargoyles and shortly before that the copper demon. And I'm finally going to ring this bell of awakening. And then after that I'm probably going to get the grass crest shield and use that shield for probably the entire game. That shield's ridiculously good, mostly just because of the stamina regeneration. But the most interesting thing about it is it gives you the stamina regen even when you're two-handing your weapon and the shield's just on your back. So if you're going to use a two-handed weapon, that shield, there's really no reason not to just, have it on your back just there for that stamina regen. It's really helpful. So before I go there, though, to get that shield, I'll probably level up some. Might as well. Raise my dexterity some more, get higher damage. Because that's all I care about right now. More damage, damage, damage. So level up some. 198 damage. And now I'll use a soul item to get another level. That's why it's always good to carry those around to edge out like one little level there. And leave yourself with no souls so that way if you die you're not wasting anything. And now I'm going to head to the grass crest shield. And since, actually, you know what, I'll fight the Titanate demon right now. There's no real reason for me to do it. Like, yeah, it's 2,000 souls, but that's not all that important. But I kind of want to test out this weapon and show that he's actually probably more of a challenge than the gargoyles. Like, look at how much abuse he can take. The gargoyle, the first one, probably would have already been dead. Like, yeah, I had the lightning pine resin, but just watch how much abuse he can take. It's pretty ridiculous. Just keep wailing on him. There's a stun. Another hit, and he's still fine. And look at how much damage that does. One hit, half health. And he's still alive. And look at this. Look at that damage. Now that I think was technically 3 hits, but it was pretty much a guaranteed combo, and it brought me down to a sliver of health. Yeah, he can be pretty scary. And again, he takes another 3 hits. Another hit. And finally dead. Like, dang. Alright, right here I'm probably, I'm just going to cut out the walking time to the grass crest shield. I've already seen that area. I think the only thing that's significant happens on the way is I kill the crystal lizard and get a Titanate chunk. So here's the another Black Knight. This is the Black Knight Halberd guy. Same strategy applies as the other ones. He can be a little tricky though because the halberd has a kind of a weird moveset. Some of the attacks can throw you off guard. But, same type of strategy. Go for the backstabs. Black Knight's very susceptible to backstabs. But you'll also see right here, he can be pretty scary. Like this combo here, a lot of damage. So I switch to my shield and get out of there and heal. Go for a backstab, two-hand my weapon because I can't even one-hand this. And I actually get the halberd, which is probably one of the more overpowered single-player weapons. It can be absolutely ridiculous. But I'm not going to use it because I want to try something new. In fact, I probably won't ever use it really just because it makes the game, as far as single-player goes, too easy. You just use power within and just destroy things with that thing. So grass crest shield, look at that stamina regeneration now, so good. The even more crazy thing about it is the stamina regeneration actually stacks with other stamina regeneration things. So if you just like pop a green blossom, your stamina regen is just going to be pretty much negligent. Like it'll just refill like in less than a second, which is pretty crazy. So I'm going to skip the travel time back to Firelink since I don't think anyone really wants to see that. So when I got here, I figured, you know what? Why not fight the Asylum Demon? I mean, he's pretty easy, and I could use the Titanate slab, so why not? And on the way, I did level up one time. I put another point into Dexterity, just so everyone's clear on what I'm doing. I don't want to, like... The reason why I don't do a lot of edits, because I don't want to, make unclear what I'm doing. So, yeah, you curl up like a ball, because in the Dark Souls universe, that means a bird will think you're an egg. Yeah, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Now, this boss is intended to be fought quite a bit later than right now, because as you will notice when I'm fighting him, he has a ton of health. But it won't take me too long to beat him thanks to the bleed status that the washing pole has. It makes fights like these a lot easier. But before that, I gotta get through these hollows. They're not exactly happy about my return. They're literally a mob with burning torches. It can be very dangerous, but the washing pole's huge range makes them a lot easier than they normally would be. I can just pick them off from a safe distance. That running attack is so good. And there was a little glitch there. I've actually experimented with it quite a bit. It's this weird glitch where if you do an attack that alters your position by a lot, and you do it like on an incline going downwards, it can launch you really far off into the air. And I haven't actually tried to see if you can use that to like get to places you're not supposed to be able to go, but I'm assuming it can at least get you to places that the roll and jump can't. I probably have to test that more. Now, Asylum Demon. I actually kind of make a sort of a mistake here. I probably should have rolled at him, not away, in case he did his AoE attack. But I got kind of lucky, I guess. Now, the thing about this fight is, if you just stay behind him, there's nothing he can do. He doesn't have any attacks to deal with that. So that's what I'm going to be doing for like 99% of this fight. I'm just going to get behind him and kill him. Now, as you can see, my R1 attacks, not exactly doing a lot of damage, but whoa, his health just went way down. That's the bleed buildup. It makes this fight a lot more tolerable otherwise, because if I didn't have bleed status on this weapon, this fight would take way longer. Like, I'd say like 80% of the damage I've done right now is thanks to bleed. And when he does that AoE, just back up a little bit, because it does hit behind him a little bit, that slower one. And look at the damage, look at the health just disappear when I get a bleed on him. If I can actually hit him. Like, there we wait, no, I don't think. If I could actually do it, it'd be helpful. There we go, look at that, it's so good. So yeah, this fight's pretty easy. The one in Islith can actually be a little more tricky because the area you fight him in can be kind of annoying. But it's pretty much the same fight. Now, the only reason I'm really worried about doing this is because the slab will be handy. I'm actually probably going to have Framp break it down to a chunk, just because I hate farming. And I'm going to get a slab, another one from Calamite anyway, and I only really need one. In pretty much every character I make, I only require one slab, because the only thing I'm concerned about getting the plus 15 is my weapon. Everything else, it's not a big deal. Like, the difference of a 14 to plus 15 shield is almost, there's like, you won't even notice the difference. Parry, switch to 2 hands, and riposte. I figure I might as well get the Peculiar Doll. I'm probably not going to use it, but why not? Because the Painted World, there's not really, it's only got useful things for specific characters. Like, it isn't going to offer me anything that important. Like, yeah, technically I could use Priscilla's Dagger on this character, but I'd probably won't even bother using it. Not my type of weapon. And now I'm probably just going to level up my dexterity another point or two, and get out of here. And a thing that I actually forgot to mention about the Asylum Demon and the Titanate slab, you might have noticed that it doesn't get auto-looted. Auto-looted refers to when an item is immediately put in your inventory when you kill an enemy. Like if you kill a Black Knight and they drop a chunk, you'll get put right in your inventory. They actually weren't always like that. In the original version of the game, if you like backstabbed a Black Knight and they fell off a cliff, you just didn't get that slab, which was really annoying. But, you know, now they're auto-looted. But for whatever reason, the Asylum Demon slab is not like that. And you might be thinking, well, what does that matter? He doesn't get knocked off a cliff, so who cares? Well, it could be very, very important, because, let's say you kill the Asylum Demon, but at the exact same moment, his fire AoE kills you. That means that Titanite slab is now gone forever. Because the moment that Titanate slab drops and the game goes to a loading screen because you died, now it's immediately erased from the game world, and you will never get that Titanate slab back. And since Titanate slabs are extremely hard, annoying and hard to farm, and there's only a set amount otherwise, that's really bad. Especially considering that that's probably the easiest way to get one is to kill him. I don't know why they never patched that, but that's just the way it is. Just be very careful when you fight him. And now my damage is up to 210. Pretty nice. And now I'm going to cut out the travel back to Firelink. Now one thing, when you appear back on this nest, you can see I'm looking around my camera. That's because you have to be very careful, because the bird actually puts you in a weird position where if you move like not even like a full step to the right, you immediately fall off and die. It's actually kind of funny. He puts you in just this really weird position, and that has happened to me many times. So that you can hear Framp groaning right there real quick. He's half awake because he's only heard one Bell of Awakening, I guess. I don't know how that works. So now I guess it's time to fight Qualaag. And no, right now I'm not going to be going through Blighttown because, you know what? Kinda don't want to fight Gaping Dragon, the waste of my time. Not going to go through Blighttown, waste of my time. Although I actually do kind of like Blighttown. It's kind of a cool level. People overstate how terrible it is. I'm sure everybody knows this trick. You just keep kicking Lautrec until he falls off. And while I'm here, I'm going to reinforce my Estus Flask since I keep forgetting. And then you simply quit the game, reload, and all his items will be right there to be picked up. So now I can finally use the Ring of Favor, which is ridiculously good. Probably too good, to be honest. Yes, I know it's one of the rings where, well, the only one where if you take it off it breaks, so it can kind of limit you, but it's so good that almost doesn't even matter. Especially if you're a new player, it just makes things so much easier. I kind of don't like the idea that they're basically giving you this ring that if you want to, make the game easier on yourself, you pretty much have to use that the whole time. And in combination with Hevel's Ring, it lets you wear armor that otherwise you'd have no business using at the endurance that I have, like, for the example right now. Like, stone armor with 9 endurance, are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. Hey, that's what the game's given me. Now I'm just trying to see where my mid-roll peaks, and there we go, I found it. Now it is time to fight Qualaag. Actually, maybe not. Where am I going? Oh, I forgot. I'm gonna go to Undeadburg to buy the Resident Key and then get Griggs and buy Magic Weapon. But I will cut that out since I've already shown both of those things, so there's not much reason to show it again. Okay, so I got Griggs, and I'm going to buy Magic Weapon, and I have just the right amount of souls to get it. And the main reason I'm using it is because there's really not much reason not to. A starting class Thief has 1 attunement slot and a 12 intelligence, not bad for starting. So it's going to give me like an extra 100 damage. Well, I shouldn't put it that way, because it's not going to give me an extra 100 damage. It's going to give me an extra 100 attack rating. Which can also be very deceiving, because you might think, oh my god, going from an extra 100 attack rating, that's amazingly good. It's not what you'd think. Because when you have split damage, your attack rating can be very misleading. I won't go into all the technical details of it, but basically, 300 attack rating from a weapon that just all physical is a lot better than a weapon that does 150 physical and 150 magic or whatever. The 300 pure will do way more. It has to deal with how the fact that a split damage is 2 different weaker damages just added on top of each other, and that isn't how defense is calculated. Because the defense is, like, let's say you have 300 magic defense and 150 magic attack hits you, it's not going to hurt you that much. And let's say you have 300 physical defense and 150 attack hits you. Again, it's not going to hurt you that much. So, but likewise, if you had 300 physical defense and I hit you for 300 physical damage, that's going to be good damage. So it's literally adding those 250 values together, and then you have to compare that against the single 300 damage type. And the way damage is calculated in Dark Souls, the 300 pure versus 300 defense is going to do more. Because the less your attack scales against their defense, it's kind of on a system of exponential decreases and increases. The further down your damage is compared to someone's defense, the less damage you're going to do, and likewise if your damage is more than their defense. So, to summarize, a buff isn't as good as it might appear. You kind of have to put it in perspective. But the way I'm using it, there's no reason not to, like I said before. It's not going to be a huge increase in damage, but it's going to be an increase. So it's always good. And thankfully I do have purple moss, so I don't have to fight Qualaag poisoned, which is always good. And on the way to the boss fog, there is a large Titanite shard, which I'm really going to want, which is basically the main thing I'm looking for right now. Right now I pretty much decided I'm going to settle on waiting until Sense Fortress to buy them. Because I hate farming. Hate farming, hate farming. So here we go. Large Titanite shard. This guy over here is pretty easy to deal with. And now it's just a matter of fighting Qualaag. Qualaag is a pretty cool boss. She's kind of like the final boss of the early game. And you can really tell because her life is ridiculously high. Like, Gaping Dragon has a lot of health too, but he's not nearly as difficult. He's so much simpler. And Qualaag is kind of the same idea, that she has a ton of health, but she has way more focus on positioning, which is what makes a really cool fight. The lava pits, the way she moves around, she forces you to move. Really cool stuff. And it's really easy to make a dumb mistake if you're not, you're not paying attention to where the lava pools are. And yeah, these enemies here, no point in fighting them. They don't do anything to you unless you do something to them in most cases. So I'm going to put on my magic weapon. Should be a good fight. I'm actually doing pretty good damage, I'd say. Yep, pretty good damage. Now, one interesting thing about this is if you hit her human body, you'll do a lot more damage and you'll stun her. And some weapons, mostly it's for range attacks, but some weapons can actually hit her even though, despite how high up she is there. The washing pole, I don't, again, I haven't used it that much, but it's probably one of them. It's got so much range. And as you can see, I'm backing up here because there's so much lava everywhere, all around here. I did a little trick there where if you unequip a weapon, it'll take the buff off, so that way you can reapply it to, if you know it's about to run out anyway. Because if the buff's on there, you can't reapply. So it's a nice little trick. I'm trying to get her away from all this lava, and I make a terrible mistake, and she moves me right into the lava, and does her AoE attack, and I am totally effing dead. And that's what happens when you get impatient and make a really dumb mistake. You will die. There's really no reason to go in there at that point. I should have pulled her further away from the lava. Hey, it happens. That's Dark Souls, right? So what I'll do is I'll actually skip the walk back to the fight since we've already seen it. Alright, time for round 2. Hopefully this will go better. So let's see what I do here. And now, yeah, when she does her jumping attack, when you're pretty close, it's better to just go underneath it. If you try to back away, the lava's just going to hit you. Get a lot of hits in here while she's spraying the lava. That attack right there is probably her most annoying attack. She manually aims the lava at you. It comes out really fast and has pretty good tracking. Right there, I think I was trying to hit her human body. I kind of want to see if that works. It'd make the fight a lot easier than it should be, in all honesty. But I've already done quite a bit of damage right now. It's pretty good. This is looking a lot better than the first take. Yep, that attack right there. I was surprised I actually dodged it even with mid-roll pretty well. That attack's usually the only thing that hits me consistently. I really want to hit her human body. I want to see if the washing pole can do it. Yep, gotta watch out for the AoE attack. Also, if you're caught in a bad spot where you can't get away from the AoE attack, like say you're cornered or something. Ooh, I did hit her human body. Oh, but I didn't stun lock her repeatedly with it. But yeah, if you get in a position where you can't get away and she's doing the AoE attack, if you block it, you'll normally survive it, even with a shield where the fire resistance isn't that great. And there we go. Time to ring the second bell. That'll be the end of episode 4. Hope to see you guys next time.